I gotta vote.
For the first time, I have an opinion.
And need to be heard.
VirginVoters.com.au.
Welcome to Virgin Voters, Episode 3, where we return to the boxing match, also called politics. In this episode, the most important thing is who you are going to vote for. We'll be asking a series of questions, but the most important one is who you are going to vote for. Visit us at our website at virginvoters.com.au or post your thoughts on Facebook or Twitter. Now, let us meet our first-time voters.
Hi, George.
Hey, George.
Hi, George.
Hi, George.
Hey, George.
They are a very interesting bunch. Now stay tuned for round 2.
Check out virginvoters.com.au. It's got everything you need to know. For the first-time voter, you can sign up to the voice box and we'll probably contact you for an interview for this show or something else we're up to. If you don't know anything about politics or what you have to do, check out the toolkit. It's got everything any Aussie needs to know about politics and how to vote in Australia. And did you know there are 53 parties to choose from? All 53 are invited to be represented on virginvoters.com.au. The ones who have sent us their info, well, they want to connect with you and they look the best. And you can read articles from uni and TAFE students across Australia, and there's also a section especially for high schoolers. virginvoters.com.au has all the usual stuff any other website has, plus an exposure page where you can see all of the media organisations in Australia who've mentioned virginvoters.com.au.
Welcome back to The Barometer. The Barometer is where first-time voters rate issues that the politicians believe are important, from 1 to 5. 5 being very important, 1 being not important. This week's issues are foreign aid, the dreaded carbon tax, and disability healthcare. Let's see what our first-time voters have to say. How important is foreign aid?
On the issue of foreign aid, I'd have to say that I'm about maybe a 3 or a 3.5 out of 5. And that I'm at that position because I consider it important, but it's not the be-all and end-all issue for me in this election or in politics in general.
I think foreign aid is about a 4 on my radar, just because we're living in one of the top percentile countries in the world where we are earning a lot more than what we need. And if every person in Australia gave $1 to foreign aid, we'd be able to end poverty because we live in the top percentile. Even people on the dole are more well off than what people living in third world countries are like, and yet we still complain. So I really think that we need to get our head in the game and just start helping these people out because they're living in such worse conditions than what we could ever imagine.
I would give foreign aid a 3, and that reason being is that I think it is a very important issue, especially considering how fortunate and comfortable we are to live in Australia, and it seems responsible to be able to help other people in countries less fortunate than us. But at the same time, it starts at home, and it's not an issue I'm going to be basing my vote on.
For me personally, foreign aid is a 5, and for me it's an election issue. This is because I've seen firsthand in developing countries that foreign aid works, and foreign aid is lifting many people out of poverty around the world, and some of these countries that are receiving aid are right next to Australia, like Papua New Guinea, East Timor. So for me, foreign aid is a 5.
I think foreign aid would be rated a 4. It's really important that we can help other countries in order to create a sense of global community. But I also think it's really important we get our own issues sorted first and clear our debt so we're able to better help the other countries.
How important is the carbon tax?
On the topic of the carbon tax, I'd say I'm probably a 4. I mean, it's very important, but and I see that the Labor government's introduction of the carbon tax was a good idea, and by scrapping it at this stage, in exchange for a new system, of course, but by scrapping it, they've kind of demonstrated their principles and priorities here. You know, you want to win the election, but they're scrapping something that's very important.
I'd say that's a 3. It's really important that as a country we're doing things that are sustainable and doing things to help the environment. As for whether the carbon tax in its current form works, I'm undecided. But it's really important that we're doing things for the environment.
I would say the carbon tax is about a 2, just because I don't fully understand what it is and I don't think it applies to me. I barely understand tax and what I pay to tax at the moment, so yeah, I don't really feel that it's an important issue to me.
I would give the carbon tax a 3, and the reason for that is that while I think the carbon tax is a good idea, I think it's been handled quite poorly. There's been a huge amount of negative feedback, in part due to the people actually affected, you know, the big mining companies, etc. But I think that the point of the carbon tax was a good idea in trying to maintain some sort of environmental responsibility in Australia, and I think there is room to be worked with the carbon tax.
I would rate the carbon tax about a 3 for me personally, because it doesn't affect me at the moment and won't really sway my vote. I think it's important that they're trying to reduce the greenhouse gas emissions, except maybe go about it in a better way for the bigger companies, but at the moment for me it doesn't really seem to have that much significance.
How important is disability healthcare?
I would rate the disability healthcare about a 4, because I think it's really important that people with disabilities are able to have good access to their healthcare needs.
I'm going to give the disability healthcare another 3, and that being that disabled healthcare is extremely important. I've had some family members who have gone through quite a bit with trying to find appropriate healthcare, and it took ages for him to be able to find a decent standard of living as a young person with a disability.
Disability healthcare is a 4 for me. I think the National Disability Insurance Scheme is a great thing, and it's been a long time coming, so it's really important.
Well, on the topic of disability healthcare, I'd probably say I'm a 2. I mean, it's not particularly important to me as I'm a kind of fit, healthy young man, but I do really see the need for it. I mean, we always hear about the kind of terrible stories of people that just can't live, basically. So it's not particularly important to me, but I understand that it's very important to a lot of people and that should be a government priority in this coming term.
I would say disability healthcare would be about a 4, just because I believe that whether you're able or whether you have a disability, you should be able to access and receive the same healthcare as anyone else.
If you're a first-time voter and would like to be a part of this show, go to our website and sign up to the voice box, or send us an email to info@virginvoters.com.au.